I've got a client who's in the process of learning how to manage a multiple dog household. She's also got a lot of other animals that she rescues. So right now, one dog in particular she's concerned with because he kind of acts like he's all that and a little bit more. He dominates the other dogs, and I think in his core he's probably pretty insecure, but insecure dogs can obviously fight and cause problems as well. So she also has sort of a unique situation because she rescues so many animals. She's got this totally cool raccoon house that her husband built for her, the raccoons can come from the outside and they can come into a little fenced-in area with a little staircase. It's adorable, but it comes right into their house, and then the dogs lay out on their beds, their living area, their sofa, TV, and everything is right in that room, so everybody's all together. So most of the dogs have gotten used to the raccoons, and of course raccoons are prey, right? And dogs are predators, so it stands to reason that some dogs are going to have a real problem with raccoons. Because in their natural world, that would probably be a food source for them. So this one dog in particular that she's having issues with is coming in, and basically she's working on putting them all on place, but he's fixating constantly on the raccoon. What concerns me is that if this dog is focusing on the raccoon, we never know when there's tension building in a dog. I'm sure all of you have known of or even had fights with dogs where you say, it came out of nowhere, it happened for no reason, there was no warning, right? Blah, blah. I mean, it happens all the time. But actually, there's always warning. We just don't see it. So what's happening is this dog is totally fixated on the raccoon, so you can imagine the type of pressure that's building in the dog as he's getting fixated. And what's happening as this pressure is building and he's being told to lay on this place, and it's building and building, so it's creating a ton of frustration because what he really wants to do is go over there to those raccoons. So the best way, there's a few things to do, but the best way to resolve that kind of situation is to start switching the drive of the dog. So get the dog on now in this particular case, it's in the home. So she doesn't need a 15-foot Lucas Agnew long line. She just needs a leash, right? Because there's not 15 feet to work the dog. But you're still going to be using the long line concept, which is to let a dog go out from you and then come into you. So one of the reasons that we do long line work is to evaluate the dog and who the dog is by letting them kind of go out and come back on their own, and then we gradually start teaching the dog to come when we turn, using a little bit of tension at the end of the leash. So we start to increase the pack drive. Well, if a dog is in really, really good pack drive with you, you're going to have little or no problems in just about every situation, right? Because the dog is packed up with you and you're leading, right? That's the leading part is the part that you have to know you've got, but that's part of the way that you encourage that in the dog is to go out and then come back in. So in this case, I'm going to try to set this up, but we're going to have to pretend a little bit because my dogs are, I don't even have any new dogs in here right now, so I'm going to get some in just a few days. But for right now, I have to use my dogs who are pretty chilled out. So Stella, come here, Stella. I wish you could see it, but I've got this on a tripod and you can't see she's on her back with her legs out. She looks like a turtle. So Stella, I have just put on a leash, on a 66-inch Lucas Agnew leash, right? So part of the loop is around her neck, so I don't know what that leaves us with, maybe 3.5 feet of leash, which is plenty to do this exercise. Now, when I first got Stella, she was fascinated to say the least about the cats. She was really interested in them, and I'm sure if she could have, she would have hurt them because that's where she was. So that's tamped down a lot in her, so we're just going to pretend that she's still like that. So I'm going to show you what I would do if Stella was still in that state. Every now and then if they start playing, she gets ramped up again. I'm going to try to speak up so you can hear me because I'm going to be away from the mic. So basically what I would do is I would let Stella, let's say the cat started playing, so I would let Stella go out and investigate what's going on, right? Come on, let's go. So she would come out here. There they are, right? So let's say she's starting to get really excited. So if I've got the leash, she might even be dragging the leash, or I've got a long line. Either way, this is a shorter long line. Then I'm going to go, let's go. And I'm going to take her away, and then I'm going to put her on, let's go. I'm going to put her on place. Okay? So really simple. I'll do it one more time for you. maybe I might be all the way back here. Get excited about the food. Let's go. Solid place? Okay, so the point of this exercise is that what we miss or what we forget to include when we're training a dog is what to tell a dog to do other than the behavior that they're doing that we don't want, right? So we're not taking it full on. In other words, we're correcting the dog, but we're not directing the dog. So we're only halfway resolving the issue, because the dog is going to basically, if you just tell the dog no all the time, the dog's going to stop maybe for a moment because you've broken that state of mind, but then they're going to immediately go back to something else. So you have to break the state of mind and then redirect the state of mind to an alternate behavior or an alternate exercise or whatever. That's why the place work is so critical, and I pound this in you every day. But what I would do in my client's case is I would really, really drill in and condition the dog on place work without distractions. So when there are no cats around, when there are no other dogs around, when there are no raccoons around, to really teach the dog that this is truly your safe space, your do not disturb space. You don't get petted here. You don't get sniffed by the other dogs here. You don't get food treats here. You don't get anything. This is nirvana. This is a sanctuary. This is heaven. And once that's really, really dialed in, then you can start gradually adding distractions and making it a little more difficult for the dog to stay calm in that environment. But once you get it down, you've got it made, because now you've got the place where you can send the dog when they're doing just about anything else that you don't want them to do. Let's say you're fixing dinner and the dog's all up in you, right? And you're fixing dinner. And maybe there's two dogs, perfect setup for a fight, and there are ones on either side and they're waiting for you to please drop a piece of chicken, right? So that would be a setup for a very bad situation. So, you get them conditioned to place, you turn around, you send them both to their separate places, so there's no competition over the piece of food or you or whatever it might be. So that's just one of many, many examples that I can use. Dogs get excited at the door when the UPS guy comes or when a visitor comes and they're, flipping out at the door, rather than go and grab them by the collar and pull them away and then try to open the door with the other hand, all awkward. Then teach your dog how to go to place, condition them to go to place using the leash first, and then gradually getting them so good at it that all you have to do is say place, and the dog is off on his way to the place, and you can see the state of mind just going from here to here. It's really fascinating to watch, and it's really cool when you can do it with multiple dogs. You will thank me. You all probably already know how to do this, but you can't overdo it with place work. I don't even have to tell my dogs to go on place. They would rather be on place than practically anywhere else in the world. Okay? Here's your little weekend advice.